Guruve Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Binda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare Hare. First of all, I offer pranams to our Gurudev, Om Vishnupad Didandi Swami Sri Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, our Shiksha Guru Sri Nityanila Prabhu Sri Gaura Govinda Goswami Maharaj, Sri Bhaktivedanta Madhusudan Goswami Maharaj, all Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, Dandavat pranams. Hare Krishna, welcome back. Chapter 27 again. Very strange, last class. The internet cut after 10 minutes, but I didn't know because everything was normal on my computer, so I gave a whole class to myself, which is okay because class is always about Shravan Kirtan. So we'll repeat chapter 27 again. This chapter, will, even though it may seem a little bit overwhelming, but if one is just a little patient, little study Jaiva-Dharma, can also look to Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu, then just again and again hearing and studying, everything becomes clear. So, chapter 26, we heard Vijay and Brajanath came to Puri. They met Gopal Guru Goswami. From him they heard about Vibhav, the first ingredient of Bhakti Ras. Vibhav is two divisions, Alamban, support, which is two divisions, Ashray and Visay, and also Udipan. So Vibhav means the cause of Ras, the cause of Ras, okay, and in whom Ras appears. So the next day they came again to Radhakanta Mat, that is the house of Kasi Mishra. Lord Chaitanya spent 18 years there. In the back of the temple, it was a small room called the Gambhira. There Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at night time would taste the ecstatic moods of Srimati Radhika in the association of Sarup Damodar and Ramananda Roy. So that place now was residing Sri Gopal Guru Goswami. He met Lord Chaitanya when he was a child and was always engaged in his service. One day Gopal went with Lord Chaitanya to the bathroom. Lord Chaitanya was holding his tongue. Then Gopal asked, Prabhu, why are you holding your tongue? And then Lord Chaitanya asked, this name of Krishna is so sweet, my tongue does not want to give it up even for a second, but how can I chant the name of Krishna when I'm passing stool? So I'm holding my tongue. Then Gopal said, but Prabhu, at the time of death, one automatically passes stool and urine involuntarily. So that time is when we need to chant the most because death is approaching. So Mahaprabhu heard this. Oh, you're giving such nice instructions on Nam Tattva. And now I know I can chant the name of Krishna anytime. So you are my Guru. So he became known as Gopal Guru Goswami. He took Diksha from Vakreshwar Pandit. And he is now residing in that place. So when Vijay and Brajanath came, they saw Gopal Guru Goswami chanting Harinam with tears flowing from his eyes. He was a little darkish in complexion. He had 4 strands of neck beads around his neck. Sometimes he would chant Ha Nitai, Ha Gauranga, absorbed in bhav. When Vijay and Brajanath saw this, they offered Dandavat Pranam with unprecedented shraddha. So the residents of the Mat became astonished because they already had so much respect for Vijay and Brajanath because both were Vaishnavas, both were Pandits, and also both were residents of Navadvip. But when they saw this So much perfect example of Guru Bhakti, they also become astonished. So Brajana, Vijay and Gopal Guru had already developed so much thick affection for them. So he embraced them, sat them down, and he said, now I will make you understand the subject of Anubhav and cause you to enter into Ras Tattva. Okay, there are four ingredients of rasa. That is Vibhav, Anubhav, Satvika-bhava and Vyabhicari-bhava. Four ingredients. Actually, there's five ingredients. The fifth is Staibhav. We will hear about that tomorrow. Already we hear about Vibhav. Vibhav is the personality who are the cause of rati. No? So now we will hear Anubhav. So bhav, you cannot see, right? Bhav is an emotion in the heart. But its presence can be understood by some bodily expressions, some bodily symptoms. So first we'll discuss Anubhav. Anu means to follow. So those external bodily symptoms which follow the movement of bhav within the heart of the devotee, those bodily symptoms are called anubhavs. Okay? So there are 13 anubhavs. No? Right. So let's read what the proper definition. Okay? Anubhav consists of activities such as by which the bhavs in the heart are realized. It means these external symptoms help one to taste this bhav. Therefore, they're an ingredient of ras. Such as sidelong glance and the hairs of the body standing on end. These internal bhavs are revealed by the following outward expressions of agitation. The 13 following anubhavs are dancing, rolling on the ground, singing, crying out loudly, stretching the body, roaring, yawning, sighing and breathing deeply, loka anupeksha, indifference to public opinion, salivating, when water comes from the mouth, laughing loudly, gurana, dizziness, and hiccuping. Okay, so also we know in the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, he would constantly be revealing these anubhavs one after another. Afterwards, we'll hear many anubhavs which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu expressed, such as perspiring blood, this body becoming 20 or 30 feet long. These are not possible for any sadhak. This is possible only in Mahaprabhu, because Mahaprabhu is tasting Madanakya Mahabhava Radhika. No. So just 13 ordinary symptoms. So Brajanath asked, how can external symptoms nourish the internal tasting of bhav? Also, the time of tasting ras, these anubhavs are manifested at the same time. How can they be a separate and a distinct ingredient of ras? Hare Krishna. Then Gopal Guru Goswami said, Baba, really? You are Pandit of Nyaya Shastra? No. I also asked a similar question to my Guru Bhakeshwar Pandit. Okay? So, hear carefully. The pure consciousness of the jiva is called Suddha Sattva. Right? So when Vibhav stimulates the function of consciousness, at that time a natural astonishment arises, which makes the heart blossom in various ways. Okay? This in turn causes outward transformations, such as dancing. These are called udbhasvara. There are many types. When the heart dances, the person dances. When the heart sings, the person sings. Okay? So, you should understand the other transformations in the same way. The action manifested by the internal mood, or the udbhasvara, okay? Just keep it simple, anubhav. The anubhavs manifested by the internal symptoms. The action is not the original action, right? The original action is what is felt inside. So there is some application of the intelligence that manifests these different udbhasvaras or anubhavs. That's why it's considered a distinct and separate function of ras, a distinct and separate category of ras. Okay? So, remember, the Staibhav is Rati. We have a relation with Krishna. Okay? We have a relation with Krishna. When the sadhak reaches a stage of Rati, then that Rati becomes the actual, transforms into what is called Staibhav, or platform of ras. Before the stage of Bhav Bhakti, one cannot taste ras. In the stage of Ruchira Shakti, there is no Rasa Bhakti. So as soon as Staibhav in the heart is stimulated by the Vibhav, for example, devotee sees Krishna, right, the deity of Krishna, or sees Krishna directly standing in threefold bending pose, right, his eyes glancing somewhere, his smile, so many moods in his body. So when the devotee sees Krishna, right, which is Vibhav, he is the Visaya Lamban, then the Asraya Lamban, that function stimulated in the devotee. Right? It's quite easy to understand. So, that time, the heart is stimulated. Thus, Anubhav is a separate individual ingredient. Okay. These Anubhavs, three types. Sita, Kshepana, okay. Sorry, two types. Sita and Kshepana, cooling and throwing. Okay. Throwing an example of Anubhav called Ksepana is dancing, roaring or rolling. Okay. And something which is cooling is like some other internal symptom, right? Maybe like yawning, like indifference to public opinion, right? So there's two types of activities. So, when they heard this, Vijay and Brajanath became silent, thinking about Anubhav. Okay, so Anubhav is some external activity, manifest, which reflects the mood in the heart. That's what's called Anubhav, that which follows Bhav. So another external symptom manifested in the body is called Satvik Bhav. Okay, there are 8 Satvik Bhavs. Okay, what are the 8 8 means Asta, Satvik Bhav. So there are 8 Satvik Bhavs. What are they? Becoming stunned, perspiration, horripilation, hair standing on end, voice choking, trembling, changing bodily color. Some more symptoms are becoming very thin, some dirtiness of the body, like the gopis manifested all these in separation when Krishna went to Mathura. Okay. Shedding tears and devastation. So what are these Astasattvic? What are these Sattvic Bhavs? Bhavs that are born from this sattva are called Sattvic Bhav. Okay. There are 3 types of Sattvic Bhavs: smooth, smeared and rough, snigdha, digdha and ruksha. What is snigdha Sattvic Bhav? Okay, we can hear all this. There are 2 divisions of snigdha Sattvic Bhav, mukha and gona. Mukha occurs when it's in direct relation to Krishna, okay, and gona when the heart is invaded by a gona rati, that is called gona Sattvic Bhav. Okay, so some sattvic bhavas manifested directly by the Mukhi-rati and some manifested by the Gauni-rati. We will hear about Mukhi-rati at the second half of the class. And the Gauni-rati we will hear about the day after tomorrow. So everything be patient. So snigdha is two types, one which comes from Mukhi-rati, the other one comes from Gauni-rati. Okay, Mukhi-rati, Smukya, Snigdha, Sattvic bhavs, becoming stunned and perspiring. Gauna, Snigdha, Sattvic bhavs. Okay, example of fading of the body complexion and choking of the voice. Smear, Digdha, Sattvic bhav is when another bhav apart from the Mukhi and Gauna-rati invade the heart. Okay. That means may not be pure bhakti. Sometimes some ecstatic symptoms, these symptoms manifest, but they do not come from sattvic bhav, right? They come from some other cause that is called digdha, right? For example, when some ordinary person hears about Krishna, the sweetness of Krishna, they feel some ecstasy, some elation. They have not reached the stage of bhav, but they're a little emotional. They hear, then some tears come or the voice choke. This is called digdha, smeared, sattvic bhav. And the third type of sattvic bhav is known as rough. Okay? Okay. Such as standing on it. We will hear about that later. So how does sattvic bhav arise? Okay? An example, for example, of ruksha, sattvic bhav, like sometimes when I'm walking in the street I go to the temple for prasad, then sometimes you hear some noise and you think a monkey's about to jump on me from behind or some dog. Then you feel one fear for 1 second. That time, hairs of the body stand on it, no? But there's no bhav, that's some fear. That's an example of ruksha bhav, ruksha sattvic bhav. Okay, so how does sattvic bhav arise? So, right, what is this rati? This bhav bhakti is what? The essence of samvit, the essence of knowledge, and the essence of ladini, ananda. So when this sattvic, Suddha sattva, touch the body, enter the body, touch the heart, then it agitates the life airs. Okay, there are 10 life airs in the body. No? If you read Bhagavad Gita, Gurudev gave all 10. No? For example, digesting food, passing stool and urine, blinking of the eyes, breathing in and out. Anyway, there's 10. I cannot remember all of them. Like some noise you hear in your ears. Anyway, there are 10 life airs that move in the body. This is called pran. So when there's Visuddha Sattva touch the heart, then there's some agitation of the pran, the life airs. So this agitation of the body caused by Visuddha Sattva, that causes bodily transformations, that is called Visuddha Sattva. So when Visuddha Sattva touches, for example, the element of pran in the body, pran means here ether, then the devotee becomes stunned, for example. When this Visuddha Sattva touches the element of water, that time the devotee perspires or they shed tears. Okay, when this Visuddha Sattva touches the earth element in the body, the devotee becomes inert. Okay. When this Visuddha Sattva touches the fire element in the body, the devotee changes color. Okay. Perspiring may occur. When the ether element in the body is agitated, the devotee becomes stunned or even unconscious. When it touches the air element in the body, the devotee may hiripilate, or the hairs stand on end, the voice may become choked, or the body hiripilates. Okay. So since these 8 transformations are seen in the external body, these 8 transformations are active both inside and outside. Sometimes these are also called anubhavs. But because the anubhavs, there's some application of the intelligence to increase taste, it's a separate division. So in simple language, the sattvic bhavs are given a separate category because there's no application of the intelligence. They arise spontaneously. Okay? Okay, it doesn't mean that the devotee who's experiencing the anubhavs is like faking it or imagining it. That's not the meaning. But just there's some division. Sattvic means automatic, spontaneous transformation of the body, and anubhavs, there's some application of the intelligence. Okay. So, here Bhaktivinoda Thakur says the anubhav activities such as dancing, singing, rolling on the ground are not the direct result arising from sattva. Rather, the activity is instigated by the intelligence. Okay? However, in the transformation such as becoming stunned, the sattvic bhavs act directly without relying on the intelligence. For this reason, anubhav and sattvic bhav are considered 2 separate and distinct ingredients of ras. Okay, everyone understand? I cannot say simple, but vibhav, 1 ingredient, anubhav, 13 bodily symptoms which are seen externally, anubhavs, and 8 sattvic bhavs. Okay, so these are 3 ingredients of ras. Okay. Okay, so we heard when there's 2 types of these sattvic bhavs. One is mukhya, one is gonya. So here we're going to hear a little description of the gonya sattvic bhavs because they're manifested by the gona rati. Okay? So gona rati we will hear at the end, the day after tomorrow. So Brajanath asks, I would like to know the cause of asta-sattvic transformations such as becoming stunned. Gopal Guru Goswami answers, stamba is a state in which one becomes inert without speaking or without any other activity. It is caused by excessive jubilation, fear, astonishment, dejection, regret, anger, and weariness. Okay. Okay. Right. Understand there's so many Vyabhicari bhavas, temporary moods, which invade the heart of the devotee. These cause also outward expressions. For that reason here it's called gona. No? Gona sattvic bhav. Romancha, when the hairs of the body stand on end, this is caused by astonishment, jubilation, enthusiasm, and fear. Like I gave the example, the monkey come behind you, then all the hairs of the body stand on end, and goosebump is there, but this is only caused by fear. Anyway, in Rasa Bhakti, it's all in relation to Krishna. No despair, wonder, anger, jubilation, and fear. This temporary mood, these are all symptoms of the gonarati. These also cause some asta-sattvic bhavs. Trembling is caused by fear, anger, and happiness. Change in bodily colors due to despair, anger, and fear. Tears come from the eyes through excessive happiness, anger, despair. Right? When you are happy, the tears are cool, and when angry or distressed, the tears are hot. Pralay, one is bereft of activity and knowledge. This may be due to excessive happiness or excessive distress. Okay, so these sattvic bhavas are experienced in 4 levels. They are Dumayat, Jwalit, Dipta and Pradipta. Smoking, burning, alight, burning and blazing. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu entered the temple of Jagannath, then in great ecstasy he ran forward to embrace the deity, but he fell unconscious. So the guards came to beat Lord Chaitanya, but Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya stopped them. Because Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was a great knower of the Shastra, therefore he could understand. The guards mistook the ecstasies of Lord Chaitanya for madness, but Sarvabhauma knew, no, this boy is not mad because all the Ashtasattvic bhavas are manifesting in his body. No? And all 8, sometimes you can see in a devotee 1 Ashtasattvic bhava, tears standing, or voice choking. No? But Sarvabhauma was seeing 8. For example, an ordinary sadhak sometimes may cry, but his crying is not like Lord Chaitanya's weeping. When Lord Chaitanya would weep tears, it would be like the flow of the Ganga. The audience would become saturated. The drain in front of the Garuda Stamba would become flooded. So just 1 sattvic bhav, like Asrut, shedding tears. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would exhibit to the highest stage, that is called Sudipta bhav. No. So no sadhak can have the Ashtasattvic bhavas like Lord Chaitanya, for example. So Sarvabhauma saw all 8 sattvic bhavas present in the body of Lord Chaitanya to the fully blazing Sudipta bhav, to the fully blazing degree. So he became astonished. Because he realized these all 8 manifested in Sudipta bhav, this possibly only in the stage of Madanakya Mahabhav, and that is not possible for any sadhak, that is only seen in the associates of Bhagavan. So Sarvabhauma could understand. He thought this Lord Chaitanya is some Mukta Purush, but that he is God, he could not think. Okay, so anyway, right. So Rati Bhav is the cause of astonishing happiness. Okay. So Ruksha Bhav means when these Rati appears in the heart, but no Bhav is there. Anyway, so this sattvic is quite extraordinary. In Shikshastakam, Lord Chaitanya prayed, Nayanam Gad Asrudara. Oh Krishna, when that time comes, when tears will flow from my eyes, Gad Gad Rudhaya Gira, my voice will become choked, the hairs of my body, Pulakam Asru, the hairs of my body will stand on end and tears will flow from my eyes as I chant your name. So in Shikshastakam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is indicating, no, that this Sattvic Bhav, that means Rasa Bhakti, this is our goal. No? So Shikshastakam, this verse is the 6th verse, which indicates Bhav Bhakti. Okay. So Bhav Bhakti is this all in Shikshastakam. So Brajanath asked a nice question. Sattvic Bhavs arise by extreme good fortune. And many people make a show of these bhavs when they play a role in a drama or to accomplish some worldly desire. What may be said about the bhavs of such people? No. Like I heard in the time of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, someone had written a drama, a play about the life of Lord Chaitanya. So that time in India, and even now, if there's a drama, all the players will be men or all the players will be women. There will be no mixed man and women dramas. No? So one prostitute, society lady, okay, these days you have to be so careful what you say. A lady of ill repute, can you even say that? Anyway, whatever. Best to be straightforward in language, then there's no misunderstanding, right? So, one lady, her character was not so good. She was chosen to be the role of Lord Chaitanya. So they invited Bhaktivinoda Thakur as the chief guest, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur declined because he thought it improper for a woman of loose character to play the role of Lord Chaitanya, so he declined. So in his place, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was invited. And this lady was expert actor. So in the drama, she manifested so much weeping and shedding of tears. So the audience were astonished. Excuse me, I just get some water. So when Ramakrishna saw that, he went to that lady. How could you manifest such weeping? He wanted, no, because afterwards Ramakrishna would also fake these stages of bhav to attract many, many followers. So he wanted to learn how to do like that. No? So sometimes for a dramatic performance or just to cheat the people, no, to manifest some tears, or then people think, oh, he's a great devotee, he must be on the stage of bhav. So for dramatical performance or just to fulfill some worldly desires, some people manifest these sattvic bhavs. What is your opinion? So Babaji said these real sattvic bhavs manifested by pure sadhana. They're pure Vaishnava bhavs. Apart from that, it will be Ratyabhasa, Satvika-bhava, or even Nishattva. What is Ratyabhasa? We heard already. Sometimes the Mayavadis hear Harikatha, they weep. Oh, just by hearing about Krishna, I can get liberation and merge with him. Ha ha. This is not Rati, this is Ratyabhasa. Sattva-bhasa, the same thing. No? Sometimes, like women, sorry to say, they're a little emotional. They hear about Krishna, they manifest some sattva, some sattvic bhavs, like weeping of tears or even rolling on the ground because their minds are very sentimental. This is called sattva-bhasa, a semblance of sattva. And finally, worst of all, nisattva. No? Nisattva refers to symptoms such as shedding of tears from those persons who are cheaters, who are duplicit, and who practice them in order for the sake of a dramatic performance or in order to fulfill some material desire, become falsely known as a great Vaishnava. This is called nisattva. Nisattva means no sattva at all, no sudasattva, just cheating. Their crying is completely pretentious. They're slippery-minded, means duplicitous person. And there's another bhav called pratip, those who hate Krishna, Hare Krishna, which comes from anger or fear, like comes from Shishupal. The sattvic bhavs they manifest is called pratip. Sorry, pratip bhavs. Okay. So don't be cheated, you know. This symptom, bhav cannot be, we cannot think someone has bhav just because they may manifest some of these sattvic symptoms. Why? They may be sentimental. No, they may be cheating. They may be nisattva. They may be sattva-bhasa. No? So really the only way we can determine whether someone has bhav is by the 9 symptoms, which we heard previously. No? Therefore, we have to be a little expert. Now, a few years ago, one lady came from another country, and in the arati, she began like shedding tears and rolling on the ground. So Didi said a message to her. Tell her if she does it again, we're going to take her body and throw her in the Yamuna. She will not be allowed back in the temple. Then she became afraid, and from that day on was no more sattvic bhavs. So we should be also careful about all these things. So finally, the fourth ingredient of ras, that is Vyabhicari-bhava. Okay? So if sthai-bhava, one's permanent ecstatic relation with Krishna is like an ocean, then the Vyabhicari-bhavas, also it's called sanchari. Sanchari-bhava or Vyabhicari-bhava, okay, are like waves on the ocean. The wave comes from the ocean, it rises, then it returns back into the ocean. Okay, so they're temporary, transitory, ecstatic emotions which arise from the ocean of sthai-bhava and return back into that ocean. Okay, so temporary emotions which invade the devotee's heart become prominent, then return. There are 33 such Vyabhicari-bhavas. Okay? V means distinct, and Abhi means towards, and Chari means to move. So that which distinctly move towards the sthai-bhava, like waves move towards the ocean, that is called Vyabhicari. They are also called sanchari because they are communicated, or they travel through the words or limbs of the devotee. Okay. Here are the 33 sanchari-bhavas. If you hear them, you will understand, or Lord Chaitanya would taste all these moods. Regret, indifference, despair, humility, physical and mental debility, weakness, shrama, fatigue, intoxication, pride, suspicion, fear, agitation, madness, confusion, disease, fainting or delusion, death, laziness, inertness, bashfulness, concealment of emotions, remembrance, deliberation, anxiety, wisdom or resolve, fortitude, jubilation, strong desire, ferocity, indignation, envy, restlessness, sleep, deep sleep, and waking state, awakening. These are 33 Vyabhicari-bhavas. These are ingredients of ras. Okay, most of these, when we hear about them in the material life, they cause pain and distress. But because rati is made of ecstasy itself, these ecstasies give more happiness, more taste. Okay, so don't misunderstand. So some sanchari-bhavas are dependent and some are dependent. There are also two types of dependent sanchari-bhavas, superior and inferior. The superior category is also two types, direct and secondary. The independent sanchari-bhavas are also divided into three types. Those devoid of rati, those those of contracting rati, and those with a trace of rati. Okay. Sometimes these bhavas appear in the heart of people who hate Krishna, or in the heart of inappropriate persons or things. These are either pratikul or anukul, pratikul or improper. All these bhavas have four conditions: generation, union, overcoming, and pacification. Utpatti, Sandhi, Sabalya, and Shant. Don't worry, we'll hear the descriptions later. Bhav Utpatti, that which generates bhav, we can understand. But what is Bhav Sandhi? Bhav Sandhi means when many of these moods appear together. For example, devotee sometimes becomes inert and also stunned, These are two separate devotees, two separate moods, but with the same intention, the same feeling. This is the instance of the union of two identical moods. This is called Sarupa-bhava Sandhi. Sandhi means to join, right? Like we do Gayatri Sandhya, the meeting of the night and the day, that is morning time or evening time. So Sarupa-bhava Sandhi means when two or more devotions of the same nature arise simultaneously in the heart. Okay. For example, jubilation, shedding of tears, for example. Let me find them. Jubilation. Okay. Jubilation, intoxication, agitation, for example. These are all the same nature. They appear together. They're called Sarupa-bhava Sandhi. And sometimes moods of a different nature will appear together. That is called Bhinya-bhava Sandhi. Bhava Sabhalya is when many different moods clash and jostle with each other. Or, for example, like Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya's body is like a field of sugarcane, so sweet. But many of these conflicting emotions would appear in his body like elephants. So when elephants fight in a field of sugarcane, what happens? The sugarcane field is destroyed. So the heart is destroyed. So Lord Chaitanya's body would be like a field of sugarcane. And all these conflicting emotions would be like elephants fighting in the field of his body. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes this. Okay. What is Bhava Sandhi? Upon the pacification of a very strong Bhava, that is called Bhava Sandhi. Okay. So is there anything more to know? Babaji Gopal Guru Goswami said there are 41 of these Bhavas. Okay. How there can be 41? Right. 33 Sanchari Bhavas. One Mukhiras will be there. One Mukhirati. And the 7 Gauniratis. So 33 plus 1 plus 7, 41. 41 Bhavas. No, the Mukhirati and the Gauniratis we will describe later. Okay. Do all the devotees have the same type of bhavs? No, he says. There are different type of bhaktas, also different dispositions, different minds. There is also a gradation of awakening according to the dispositions. So it's not possible that all devotees can always have the same bhavs. Right? Some people are now pushing Gaudiya Sampradaya is only one bhav, Manjari bhav. But again and again we see there's no mention of any of this in Jaiva-Dharma. No, you will hear later. No, when we try to be too rasic but we do not have the qualification, you just cause disturbance in society. Okay, so no, all devotees do not have the same bhavs. There is gradation according to the different mood, the intensity of the different devotee at different times. So, tomorrow I will explain Sthai Bhav. Vijay and Brajanath did pranam and left. So today also, half of chapter 28 we will do. No, because we still have 15 minutes left. So Mukhirati, the foundation of all this is Sthai Bhav. What is Sthai Bhav? Sthai Bhav means permanent ecstatic emotion in the heart. That is the foundation. Sant, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, or Madhuraras. These are 5 Mukhiratis. Okay, let me shut up and we'll hear Jaiva-Dharma. Prabhu, you've explained everything, Vibhav, Anubhav, Satvika-bhava and Vyabhicari-bhava. These are all bhavs. Then where is Sthai Bhav? Babaji, Gurudev says, it is true they are all bhavs. Sthai bhav is that bhav which subjugates all the compatible as well as incompatible bhavs, and which predominates and controls all of them. He is like a king or an emperor. Right? So we've heard all these vibhavs, we've heard all the anubhavs, the sancharis, we've heard everything, but that mood which controls all of them, that is called sthai bhav. Okay? King never gives up his position. So no matter what bhav is moving in the heart of the devotee, the sthai bhav is fixed and controls everything. Devotee cannot have two sthai bhavs. Devotee can have one. Anyway, we will hear more explanation. The devotee cannot have two surups of different nature. No. Some people say, anyway, people say many things, but it's devotee only have one mood. That one mood, that one sthai bhav may have different surups, but all those surups will be in the same mood. Like Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva wants to become a gopi. So he went to Yogamaya. Yogamaya turned him into a gopi. But when he danced in Raslila, Krishna said, I feel a disturbance. Why? Because Shiva had the body of a gopi, but doesn't mean Shiva became in Madhurya Ras. Shiva is a devotee in Shanta Ras. Right? Little bit of Dasya is there. Mostly Shanta Ras is there in Shiva. No? That cannot change. That's why even though he had the body of a gopi, he was not in Madhurya Ras. That's why he was put outside of Raslila. So many people saying many rubbish things about sthai bhav and about sarup. That's because they never deeply read Jaiva-Dharma, no? And more important, they never heard Jaiva-Dharma for any high-class Vaishnava. More importantly. So, what controls, predominates, and reigns all other compatible and incompatible moods like an emperor, that is called sthai bhav. So when that mood comes to the stage of rati, then it's called sthai bhav actually. Sthai bhav is the rati that the devotee has in his heart for Krishna as he identifies himself as ashraya, as a devotee. Okay, so when you feel I am a devotee and Krishna is the object of my affection, when the devotee reaches the stage of rati in a particular mood, that is called sthai bhav. Okay. That sthai bhav, that bhav which brings the other bhavs under its control, sometimes may accept them as motivations or assistants to taste ras, but doesn't mean he gives up his predominant position. Study this very deeply and reflect on how the sthai bhav is different from the other bhavs. Okay, so this rati, what does he say? Rati in the form of sthai bhav can be either primary or secondary. Therefore, there are two types of rati, mukhya rati and gauna rati. In the context of bhav bhakti, mukhya rati is the rati characterized as Suddha Sattva Visheshatma Sarup. Okay, the devotee's sarup, that is not composed of sattva gun, rajagun or tamagun. The devotee's sarup is composed of what? The essence of Ladinian samvit. Therefore it's called Suddha Sattva Visheshatma Sarup. So the sarup of the devotee is not material. Okay? So sarup has a body. So the body of the devotee and the sarup of the body is not different. Okay, so in simple language, the sarup, the eternal, the permanent emotion of the sarup, that is called sthai bhav. Okay. So anyway, Brajanath says, Gurudev, now I understand nicely what the mundane poets, Romeo and Juliet, explain. This is not Suddha Sattva, this is some material or some shadow of the pure moods of the soul. Okay, so please explain the different types of Suddha Rati or Mukhya Rati. When Guru heard this, tears poured from his eyes. It was very hard to find qualified disciple. So he said, now listen, there are two types of Mukhya Rati. Mukhya Rati which nourishes itself, Swata Rati, and Mukhya Rati which nourishes another Rati that is called Parata Rati. Okay, Swata Rati means that Rati which nourishes itself by compatible moods. Okay, that is Swata. Swata means own self, like Swarup, own Rupa, own form. Swata, everything for himself. He nourishes himself. Swata Rati. Okay, some Mukhya Rati, two types, Swata and Parata. Okay, Swata Rati means when it don't depend or need anything else. He nourishes himself. Example like Madhya Soda. Swata Rati. Pure Vatsalya Ras, no mixed any other mood. And Parata Rati is when a devotee can have 2 or 3 moods which support the main mood. Okay? Therefore we will hear, I think it's mentioned here somewhere, 2 types of devotee, Kevala Rati where there's only 1 mood, and Kevala and Sankula Rati where there may be 2 or 3 different moods mixed with the original mood. So when it's mixed, that is called Parata Rati. So Rajanath asks, what is Parata Rati? Parata Mukhya Rati accommodates both compatible and incompatible types of bhav by shrinking away. This is another way of classifying Mukhya Rati. So when there's some unfavorable bhav in Swata Rati, the devotee neglects it. Okay? Creates feelings of regret or apathy. But Parata Rati, is like Maharaj gives the example, Madhusudana Maharaj gives the example, like a king. Imagine a king has a very good friend from school, childhood friend. Then the king says, hey, today you sit on my throne and I'll sit there. So the friend is sitting on the throne. It looks like he's a king, but actually that friend understands, actually I'm not the king, I'm in this position, he is king. And the king may go in a secondary position, but the king always knows I'm still king. So sometime a devotee, the main mood, Mukhya Rati is there, but some other mood may be there, Sankulit Rati, which joins and nourishes that. So sometimes it looks like that secondary Rati has become king and predominating over everything, but the real fact is that the other Ras is predominant. Now he discusses this later. Angiras and Angaras. Angiras means the main Ras, and Angaras means the assistant. So all these topics came up in the discussion of the Swarup of Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. But because people think they know everything and don't need any Shiksha Guru, they just read some. They don't even read book. They hear something from Gurudev, misunderstand and preach that, and result cause chaos in society. That's why we need Sadhu Shastra Guru. Gurudev says something, you have to look at Shastra. You have to hear from Vaishnavas what is the meaning. It's useless just saying Gurudev said, we believe Gurudev, we follow Gurudev, we don't believe anything else. That is useless talk. That is Shraddha, but in the mode of goodness, mode of ignorance. For example, Gurudev said, Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, he is in Madhurya Ras, he is in Manjari-bhava, he is in the mood of the maid servants of Radhika, he is in Gopi-bhava, but Gurudev never one time said Swami Maharaj is a Manjari. So what is the meaning? The meaning is here Parata Mukhya Rati. Swami Maharaj's Sthai Bhav is what? Sakhiras. How we know? If you read any of the poems, especially on Jaladuta, so many of his own statements about himself, it's obvious Prabhupada is a coward boy. So Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj, when he said Swami Maharaj is Madhurya Ras, Swami Maharaj is in Gopi Bhav, he's in the Manjari Bhav, What? That means Prabhupada doesn't know his own Surup and Gurudev knows his Surup better than Prabhupada. No, that is not the meaning. Or then Narayan Maharaj is wrong, Prabhupada is right. No, you can't say all these things, no? So what's the meaning that Swami Maharaj, Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, has a very special mood? This is called Sankula Rati, or this Parata Mukhi Rati. The Mukhi Rati in someone like Prabhupada is Sakiras. But the Parata Mukh, the Angaras, right, the assistant Ras is Madhurya Ras. No? Sometimes it looks like Madhurya Ras becomes prominent. No? Then a foolish person will say Swami Maharaj is in Gopi mood. No. Gopi mood sometimes becomes prominent, but there's still the Stai Bab is always Sakiras. No, we know from the Vaishnavas there are 4 types of coward boys. So one type of the coward boy, they're called the Priyanama Sakas. They're also touching Gopi Bhav. So in these type of coward boys like Subal, like Madhu Mangal, like Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, their Stai Bab is Sakiras, Angiras, but the Angaras, the assistant ras is Gopi mood. No? So sometimes it looks like Gopi mood becomes prominent, doesn't mean he's a Gopi. That means sometimes he tastes Gopi Bhav, sometimes he tastes Madhura Ras, sometimes he tastes the mood of the maidservants of Radhika, but it does not mean he is a Gopi. Anyway, no need to go too much into that now, but you see everything is there in Jaiva-Dharma. Parata Mukhi Rati accommodates both compatible and incompatible bhavs by shrinking away. No, that means the main bhav shrinks away and gives prominence to the secondary rasas, but not always. This is a temporary thing. Okay, so what is that again? Let's hear. Mukhi Rati is divided to 5 parts: Sudha, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. Let me keep it simple because he clarifies later. Santa, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya Ras. These are 5 Mukhi Ratis. No? Okay? So sometimes devotee may have mixtures of moods, like Balaram. He's Sakiras. But he has some touch, Vatsalya, because he's older than Krishna. Also he feel I am Das, servant of Krishna. So some different, but predominance of Vatsalya is there in him. Okay? For example, Baladev, because he's older than Krishna, Baladev can say to Krishna, Krishna, don't play so much, sit and rest for 10 minutes. Or eat this. Main mood is Sakiras, but sometimes that shrinks away and Vatsalya becomes prominent. This is called Parata Rati. So anyway, 5 Mukhi Ratis are there. Sant, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhur. Now, some people try to say now in Gaudiya Sampradaya is only 1 ras, Manjari Bhav, but we cannot see anywhere in Jaiva-Dharma this is mentioned. Jaiva-Dharma clearly mentioned Mukhi Rati as 5 types. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu giving all 5 types of bhakti. And in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sampradaya, we see devotees in all five rasas. So just to clarify, Sudaras, there's 3 kinds of Sudarati. No, for example, when Krishna went to Mathura, small children also ran after Krishna because all the crowd is following Krishna and Krishna very handsome. So they're following Krishna, but no special mood come towards Krishna, only they love him. This is called samanya. Okay, so that is called samanya rati. Also sometimes devotee, when he's with the devotees in Sakiras, he thinks I'm a Saka. When he's devotees in Dasiras, he thinks I'm a devotee of Dasiras. This is called swacha. Means he reflects according to his Sangha. No? This is 2 types of samanya rati. Okay. So, but really, Santa Rati, the mood of Santa means when there's equilibrium in the mind, he is completely detached from all sense gratification, and he has a special attachment towards Brahman or Paramatma especially. No, this mood arises in the hearts of the devotees, but Some touch of it there in the hearts of the yogis also. So this rati is unmixed with anything in dasya, sakya, vatsalya or other rasas, then it is called shantarati. Okay, so Santarati has these qualities of detachment from sense gratification, Nishta in Krishna, equanimity. There are three other ratis, Dasya, Sakya, and Vatsalya. These are also divided into two categories, Kevala and Sankula. We spoke about that before. In Kevala Rati, only one type of rati is active, without a scent of any other type. In Braj, Kevala Rati is exhibited by servants such as Rasal, friends such as Sridham, and Krishna's superiors like Nanda Yasoda. They have Kevala Rati, only Vatsalya, only Sakya. So, Sankula Rati is when there are two or more types of rati congested or combined together, such as Uddhav. Right? Uddhav is friend of Krishna, but he's also Das, servant. Bhimsen is friend of Krishna, but also older than Krishna. So little Vatsalya is there, Bhimsen. No? Radharani's nursemaid Mukhara. Right? Some Vatsalya will be there, some Dasya is there. This is called Sankula Rati. Okay, so when devotee has Sankula Rati, it doesn't mean he has two Sarups. It means what? Some mixture is there. But still one in mood is prominent and others are assistants. Okay, Brajanath said, at first I thought there was no Shantaras in Braj, but now I see it also exists there to some extent. In Braj, Shantaras always mixed with some Dasya or even Madhura Ras, like the trees which make the kunjas, where Radha Krishna do lila. The tree is Santaras, but must be a little touch of Madhura Ras. No? The trees in Gokul, in Nanda's courtyard, some Santaras are there, but little Vatsalya should be there, of course. No? Right? So explain Dasirati. Dasirati, also called Priti, is where the devotee feels Krishna is the master, I am the servant. That is Dasirati. What is Sakirati? One has confidence that I am the same as Krishna. Krishna is equal to me. There's so much joking and laughing there. That is Sakirati. What is Vatsalyarati? Vatsalyarati is where the seniors of Krishna show compassion to him, kindness to him, and protection to him. They're always performing rituals to give him long life and auspiciousness. They're offering him blessings, touching his chin, smelling his head. These are Vatsalya. And Madhurarati. Madhurarati is the doe-eyed gopis of Braj, which give happiness to Krishna through 8 types of meeting, right? Glancing, thinking, other things. They express their affection to Krishna through different anubhavs, like moving the eyebrows, glancing. As these ratis increase in sweetness as we go from Shant to Dasa to Sakya to Vatsalya to Madhura. These are the 5 types of Mukhirati. Please explain Gaunarati. Okay? So we'll explain that the day after tomorrow. The 7 types of Gaunarati. Okay? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Ramo. Hare Ramo. Ramo Ramo. Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Nitai Gaura Haribo, Haribol, 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 Nitai Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Haribol. So I do recommend everyone a little study before next class. Also study Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu because Gaunarati is not easy to understand. Mukhirati a little easy, but Gaunarati is not easy to understand. So people should little prepare themselves by studying. And day after tomorrow is Radhastami. I'm sure there'll be some presentation of Harikatha tomorrow from Krishna Balaram. Okay, Jai Jai Sri Radhe. Hare Krishna.